Strawberry cinnamon rolls with a lemon cream cheese glaze.
Let's see what's cooking. Let's get the facts. Let's see what's cooking. It's time for yoyomax12.
Hello everyone, starting off with 3/4 of a cup of milk and 1/3 of a cup of butter. You need to heat the milk and butter together until the butter is melted and the milk is very warm. I did mine in the microwave for about 45 seconds, took it out and then just stirred it until all of the butter was melted. When you touch the milk, you want it to be very warm but not boiling hot. The next step is to place 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour in a large bowl, 2 teaspoons of instant active yeast, 1/4 cup of white sugar, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Just whisk those things together briefly in the bowl. Add your dough hook attachment, then add 1/4 cup of water, 1 egg, continue to mix, and then you're going to gradually add in that butter milk mixture as well as an additional cup of all-purpose flour. And you can add them alternately until you have a nice smooth dough that's going to be slightly sticky. And knead it with your dough hook attachment until it's smooth. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can do this all by hand. You're just going to knead it by hand until it's smooth. It's going to be kind of sticky as you can see here, but that's normal. So I just pulled it away from the bottom of the bowl just to make a dough ball. Cover it with a cloth and just let the dough rest for 10 minutes right on the countertop. Once it's rested, lightly flour your counter, put the dough ball down, and then either stretch it out or roll it out until you get a 9 by 15 inch rectangle approximately. This rolls beautifully and is not very sticky once it's had a chance to rest and once you flour your countertop a bit. And now you're going to add your filling. I used a raspberry pie filling. You can use strawberry pie filling, apple pie filling, whatever you want. Spread the filling over the surface of the dough, and it's better to leave one side, one of the long edges clean with no filling to about 1 inch. Then sprinkle with a little bit of cinnamon, about 2 teaspoons worth. And then you're going to roll it up. Roll it up from the long edge. Now, as you can see, as you're rolling, that filling is going to kind of squish ahead of it a little bit. So that's why if you leave a nice 1 inch blank strip along one edge, there'll be some room for that filling to move into. Now, once you're done rolling, you need to slice this into slices to put into your greased 9 by 13 or bigger baking dish. I used to use a knife to do this, and the filling would squish out all over and make a big mess. Someone told me, why don't you try dental floss? Someone in my comment section, thank you to you. And look how beautifully that works. Let me show you what you have to do. Plain old dental floss. Just work it underneath the dough roll. Just kind of wiggle it back and forth underneath until you get the size of slice that you want. Cross it over the top so that it's even, and then just pull. And there you go. Beautifully clean slices. You get a little bit of filling coming out, but hardly any at all. It's just brilliant. And I wish I would have discovered this method 20 years ago because it would have made my cinnamon roll experience so much better. Then cover this up with plastic wrap and put it in a warm place to rise for 30 minutes. I just set mine right on top my stovetop and my oven was preheating. So it just always makes the stovetop a little bit warmer, but not hot. And there they are after 30 minutes. They do rise a little bit in the pan, as you can see, but they're going to rise a lot more in the oven. So put these in a 375-degree oven, and you're going to bake them for about 30 minutes until the tops are light brown and they're done. Color doesn't change too much. You can see how they're light brown on the tops. They've obviously risen a lot more because they're all touching now. And then basically you're just going to let them cool while you prepare your glaze. The glaze itself is so simple, but it is absolutely delicious. That's 4 ounces of cream cheese at room temperature, 3 tablespoons of butter at room temperature. And if the blending of happy cream cheese makes you cringe, look away just for a second. Okay, blend the cream cheese and the butter together until it's nice and smooth. And then you're going to add 1 cup of powdered sugar, also known as icing sugar or confectioner's sugar. I beat it in a little bit at a time because the bowl I was using was a little bit on the small side. After it's nicely blended, add in 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, about a 1/4 cup of milk. Start off with about 1/8 of a cup. Blend that together. Once it's blended, you're going to add 1 tablespoon of lemon zest, which is about the zest of a small lemon. So after you blend in your lemon zest, then you decide whether or not you want to add more milk. If you like it to be thick, then don't add any more milk. If you want a thinner glaze, then add a little bit more milk until you get the texture and thickness that you want. That's a personal preference completely. The original recipe asked for half and half. I used plain milk and I think it was just fine. So here is a cinnamon bun out of the oven and glazed. I put the glaze on when it's just, the rolls are just a little bit warm so that it melts into the cinnamon roll. And as you can see, they're nice and tender and gooey and delicious. And it's not something you usually want to eat with your hands because they're quite messy. The actual roll itself is nice and tender, and here's one without the glaze. You don't have to put glaze on it if you want. This would make a nice little breakfast roll just without the glaze the way it is. I like the glaze because the roll itself is not very sweet and the pie filling isn't super sweet either. So I thought the addition of the glaze was perfect. The only thing I would change with this recipe is instead of putting in the 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract in the glaze, I would add a teaspoon of lemon extract to intensify that lemon flavor to make it even better. I have quite a few cinnamon roll type recipes on my channel, and one of my favorites are these ones right here. These are tender lemon rolls, and these are so good. And the only reason I've never made these again was because they were so messy to slice up and to put in that pan to bake. But now that I have the magic of dental floss for cutting, I will make these again because the dental floss will make these so easy to make. I actually prefer these lemon rolls over the raspberry, but that's a personal preference. If you want to see these, go ahead and click right on your screen or look for the link in the description box below. Thanks for watching.